outside lies ready to bolt at any moment. It has out of concern, but I feel it's not my position to do so. What if it's something personal? I'd be simply overstepping my boundaries. Really, it's none of my business.
I presume that Miss Cooper told you why I'm here, Miss Santos?
Huh? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I just got back from lunch, you know? But it won't take too long, don't worry.
Of course it won't. This whole project has established itself to be a matter done in haste. I do hope it doesn't mean that people are being careless in their duties.
She flinches and looks like she doesn't quite know how to respond to that. Thankfully, instead of opening her mouth, she leads the way towards the station and goes to fetch the floor plans. It won't take too long, as she said, but it does take quite a bit. Time spent to compose herself, most likely.
You know, we usually just email these things.
I prefer the real thing.
Not that you would know. You probably have your nose stuck in front of your smartphone when you're not working, and even when you should be working, playing those mindless, addictive games. I definitely wish Chris would stop playing that bad cat thingy during work hours.
I know what you mean. Digital painting is nice, but nothing beats the smell of real paint. Not that I go and smell paint like a crazy person, but, you know, the real thing is different.
Wait, what?
Yes, nothing is quite like the real thing.
Checking out the floor plans, I see that I'll have a lot going for me. Now I know how Ray felt when he found the Central Park West building floor plans from that one movie. So let's check out the mentioned floor plan. So that's where people enter. There's a dining hall here. The kitchen with the wine cellar. That wine cellar is gonna be super important in my opinion. Anyway. And that room. Oh yeah, that's the room with okay, I see. That's where Zachary broke in. Then you have the restrooms right there. A music room. Okay. Basement ballroom. That's where the party was. Hallway. Where is the the attic? There. All right, that's good. This is why I became an architect in the first place. Jacobean style at its finest, it's a thing of beauty. Look at these gorgeous rooms, the delicate harmony between empty spaces. And speaking of empty spaces, there's something rather odd about these ones. What does she mean?
I feel a bit silly saying it out loud because I've never lived in a big house, let alone a mansion. But during the tour, I had the distinct impression that the rooms were bigger.
Bigger?
Maybe the scale is wrong? It's not much of a problem. And it is an old house.
There had been little details here and there that I would have liked to address during the open house too. But it was all forgotten in the wake of Miss Santos' incident and the trouble with ownership. The wine cellar is going to be a problem. I shudder to think what sort of repairs they did to the place. There might have been things that were swept under the rug, pushed to the dark corner of the rooms, and hidden away in barrels. Water damage could have been covered up. There had been floods due to heavy rains in the West England just last year, after all. And if there is any sort of damage to the house foundation, that's going to be a lot of work. I was not able to look at the attic as well, for all I know. A whole family of vermin could have made their nest there. Working with pest control is always the worst. The sheer size of this place is staggering. Even if I did just say it, it was a lot smaller than I thought. I might just be biting off more than I can chew, but who doesn't like a good challenge? First thing first, I have to...
So, do you want a coffee? the one from the staff room is pretty decent.
There's really no need. I'm sure you have rules against it.
Rules against bringing someone coffee? That's ridiculous, and even if there were regulations against it, nobody's really here to tell Sir John. I've already brought 2 mugs, and I'm not going to drink them on my own. Come on.
Come on, Marianne. I have to stamp down my annoyance at being distracted. Seeing the young woman though, it looks like she has a lot on her mind. If babbling is a way of dealing with straight thoughts, I'm not really the one she should be babbling to. How should I respond? Of course. I give her time to speak up. But when she just stares, I clear my throat.
Yes? You have something to say?
As embarrassment creeps up on her face, I snatch one of these coffee from her and take a sip. Too hot.
Just thinking and speaking off the record, it must be fun what you do. You go to people's houses and you make them, well, pretty. You're sharing your art with them.
It's a little bit more complex than that. But if you put it that way, it is fun. I wouldn't have done it for 7 years if it wasn't a little bit fun, I guess.
These big clients always have paintings in their homes. Do you have a supplier for art pieces?
I did not expect to hear such question from her, seeing how well she handled herself yesterday. I did not doubt then why she was assigned to an important cell like the Emerald God mentioned, despite the little accident she had. Now, she looks too young. She just looks too young, too nervous and unsure of herself, although her enthusiasm must make up for that in spades. In fact, I would not have believed it if she had introduced herself the way she is at the moment. Why watching her now, she actually looks like she should still be in college. Acts a bit like too when I think about it. I thought she was a teen slumming it out in the mansion when I first saw her there, lying on the ground. Surprise, she turned out to be one of the estate agents handling the property. I don't even know what to make of that whole meltdown that happened with that strange document. If I were the client, I would have been very upset. She'd be in hot water for
The
it.
clients usually support artists of their own choice. If they don't, I'm always happy to refer those that I know.
That's cool.
Alright, sorry.
They're very picky. I don't think a hobbyist will have an easy time getting their work sold.
Hey, I'll have you know I was a student of the fine arts.
And yet, here you are, selling property. Maybe you weren't a very fine student of the arts.
Ouch. Maybe I took that a bit too far. She bites her cheek and it looks like she's barely holding herself
It's
back.
not like I had a choice.
She mutters it under her breath. I barely even hear it, but the hurt is there. And it makes one wonder what brought it on. Although it's understandable, if her reason's what I think it is, very few people make it big in the art world. I can see why she's upset about it with that enthusiasm. I did not have a choice when I left Ireland. It was that or years of unemployment. The recession and the toll of it took in the construction industry was out of anyone's control. I don't know what choice she wasn't able to make, whether it was about her being a hard school or something else. But the world is not a fair place, and the sooner she accepts it, the better. Still, with that forlorn look on her face, I can't help but sigh. The girl reminds me far too much of myself when I was younger.
Well, if you're thinking of commissioning your paintings, I'll have to see your work first.
Oh, it's not... I didn't mean it like that. I don't have any paintings.
Really? You sounded a lot like you still did art or want to. Now I'm starting to worry that you might just like the smell of paint.
I'm not a paint huffer, sheesh. I just mean I don't make much anymore. I don't really have the time for it. The tools and materials aren't exactly cheap either.
Everything has a price. It sounds like you're making excuses for something you're presumably passionate about. If you really want to practice art, a little out of your wallet isn't much.
It's not that simple.
It's not. Life's simple. People just like to make it complex. Speaking off the record, I have some advice for you, kid.
Achievement unlocked. Grow up, kid.
Either go for what you want, or stop thinking about it when you have something else. That is unless you enjoy making yourself miserable, then by all means.
I guess that's a good advice, but the way she is saying it, kinda is bad.
You know, if you wanted to look at the floor plans without me bothering you, you could have just said so.
Would you have left me alone?
We'll never know now, will we?
A strange air settles in the room afterwards. It doesn't help that she doesn't immediately leave. She has sat, lingering awkwardly by the door with that downcast expression. It's clear there's more she means to say, perhaps even to defend herself and her choices in her life. Or is she expecting me to dish out more of that advice? It's an awkward affair and I choose to hightail out to the realty office as quick as I can. Though I am able to keep myself professional at all times does not mean I like it. And seeing that most of the day has already gone by before I realized it, I choose to head back to my flat instead. Despite today being a Saturday. Not fun, but at least this way I can definitely avoid another unpleasant encounter. Considering how much I'll be seeing whiskey in the near foreseeable future, I have a feeling I need all the rest the weekend can give me. For the first time in a long while, excited as I am to work on the mansion, I cannot wait to be over and done with this project. Monday could not come any sooner. After taking the floor plans from Miss Santos the day before the last, I spent most of my Sunday drawing up plans and calling in my suppliers. Although no design choices have been made yet, I'm quite sure that it want high-end appliances, the most expensive materials and the most pretentious everything. They usually did these rich types, based from experience at least. Given how badly this whole thing started, it would not have hurt to be prepared. Hey, what's up, Cream Pie? Best Pie, how are you? I have to check myself, make sure I'm not playing with my gloves, as one of the other building tenants takes the elevator with me. How are you, sir? Listen up, nerd. What do you want me to say? It makes me self-conscious when a woman's eyes go over me, and I'm sure she was going to point out some perceived flaw in my physical appearance. But I'm safe from being paranoid when they went off a few floors later. Still, the ride up to my floor is nerve-wracking. The rides lived at the very top, the penthouse, the creme de la creme, when it comes to condominium and urban living. Just getting access to the place is an ordeal of its own. How are you, Miss Crumpy Best Buy? Mister, I'm not sure. I had to jump so many hoops, so many security checks just to secure a key card. Not only because of building management, but because of the right's personal security. First of all, I'm a fucking idiot. You done that? You? I'm sorry, I just read them really fast. And you can't forget that I am mostly French. So yeah, it's a bit difficult for me to read English. Sorry about that. How are you, Miss Crumpy Best Buy? It sometimes felt like I'm being interrogated for a crime and not visiting a client at the home. Even when their personal assistant called in to help out and verify my presence, the process is aggravated rather than hastened. Speaking of the devil, French people respect women, you're not French. I'm sorry, Miss Crumpy, I'm sorry. Please forgive me, forgive me. The elevator door opens and I am greeted by none other than Whiskey's not so little lackey.
I do apologize if I kept Mr. and Miss